Okay, today we're going to see how to create an Azure virtual machine from the Azure portal. So first we need to create like a resource group to create a virtual machine. So we can click here in the left panel menu and we can click here in the resource groups, or we can write the resource group here in the search bar. Then I click resource groups and then I'm going to create a new resource group. I select a subscription and I'm gonna put the name for my resource group. I'm gonna name it Regi Test, and the region is US. I select that region where this resource group is going to be. In this case, is US. So I click next, and I create the resource group. Okay, the resource group is created. Let's click refresh. Here it is. Okay, then I need to create the virtual network where that virtual machine is going to be. So then we can click here in the left menu panel, virtual networks, or we can we can search here in the search bar virtual networks, then click here. Let's create a new virtual network. Let's select the resource group that we created and let's put a name for our virtual network. I'm gonna name it VNet Test is US. I select the region of the virtual network, then click next. For now, I'm gonna leave this as the file. Then we need to define a network address. So I'm gonna delete this address space and I'm going to create a new one. And we can define here that a private network address. I'm just going to choose 192.168.0.0, and the network mask I'm gonna choose a /24. Then I click next, and let's create it. Okay, our virtual network is created, so I'm going to go to the virtual network. I'm gonna select it, and we need to create a subnet. This subnet is where the VM, the virtual machine, is going to be. So we need to select the purpose of the subnet. There are different purposes. For now, we're going to select the file. We're gonna name it subnet servers. We're going to select the address space, so this, and we're going to define our subnet. I'm gonna define this subnet as /25, and everything else we're going to leave it as the file. Let's add our subnet. Okay, now we can create the virtual machine. We can like search here in the bar virtual machines, or also we can select virtual machines here in the left panel menu. Okay, let's create our virtual machine. Let's select our resource group, and we're gonna name this virtual machine as VM This. Okay, let's select the region, is US. Or availability options or security type options. I'm gonna leave it in as a standard, and or image or operating system. So we have like a lot of images to select, but right now I'm going to leave like the Ubuntu server 24. The size of this VM, we can select different size. So for now I'm going to select this size, standard D2S version 3. We need to define the authentication type. So I'm gonna select the password, and I'm gonna find the username and the password. Okay. In inbound port rules, I'm gonna leave it in none. Then disk, we can select the size of our disk. I'm gonna leave it default. And the type of the disk, we can select premium, standard, or HDD. I'm gonna leave it premium. Click next. Okay, the networking options. We're going to select our VNet or subnet. I'm not going to define a public IP for this VM, and I'm not going to define a security group for the network interface of this VM. Click next. We can leave this as the file. Next, 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 next. Okay, let's click create. Okay, our VM is created, so we can click to virtual machines, and our VM test is going to appear here. We can click the VM, and we can see the details of the VM here in the overview panel. We can see the size, the operating system, the status of the VM, the location, the private IP, and more. And if we want to connect to this Linux VM, we can click here, Serial Console. And we can tap here our username and our password. So Azure user and our password. Then we are inside the VM. We're in the operating system. And yeah, we are connected. So this is all for this tutorial, and yeah, thank you.